Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. A topic for the day is impact of globalization on education, and to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Miss Sonal Rawat, ma'am, principal of Indirapuram Public School, Indirapuram, New Delhi. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing well, and the rains have really helped us, calm us down, and we're happy about it. And we hope to see more rains in the coming days.
Indeed, ma'am, and it's so good to have you here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your precious time for us.
Thank you so much to have invited me here, and I'm very happy to share my views on globalization and its impact on education. That will be really wonderful to get a feedback from the audience also. I'm sure that you have some kind of a method by which you're able to also collect information and the feedback.
Absolutely, ma'am. So we do have, the live chat here, so the viewers can talk to us, talk to you in that live chat and the comment section. So let's start off with the session now, ma'am.
Okay.
Shall we? All right. Firstly, ma'am, how do you, explain globalization and what are the positive and the negative impacts do you think are of globalization on education and in general?
For me, one word which stands out when we think about globalization is interdependence. I think this word highlights that when we talk about globalization, we all use the quote of the world being a global village, and but if we look deeper into what globalization is, I think is basically we all are now interdependent on each other for I think, economical benefits, for our cultural exchanges, for political support. And if we look at the recent events in the world, we know it's been really highlighted that what globalization has done to the political benefits or better political system within the world also. So it could be nations, it could be, I think, organizations, it could be institutions. And globalization is also, if I look back into the history, I would say partly the process was, it's not nothing new. It's been more exponentially, the speeding up has been done. But if you, I'm sure you have heard about the Silk Route and how it impacted the political and the, the knowledge transfer between various countries and regions at that time as well. And the same thing is happening now, but the pace of that transference both ways is really exponential. And sometimes I think we are not able to actually gauge its impact or what will be its consequences, which we get to see down the line. So I would say interdependence on each other for everything around us is what I feel is globalization. There's a tendency that there has been an economic trade between various countries. It's really helped us. As a person, I know that when I used to go to a different country or different place, even within my own country, I would pick up certain things which had the local flavor. But globalization, what it has done to us also is that there has been uh, for the consumption, for the values, and for the cultural products. There's been a kind of a standardization, and which has led because of the wide circulation of the products because of fantastic logistical system network across the world. The national borders are merely a political borders. We can reach out to anybody across any country through our various platforms. So there are benefits, and there have been some kind of red markers also on the way. Um, if I see that what has been the benefit, and also people have been debating about it. I know there are some positives because people where certain countries or certain nations have been able to expedite their economic development because they've been able to outsource certain work to certain region where the skilled labor was available. They've been able to outsource work to certain area where the cost of the skilled labor was low. As a consumer, I have been able to get more products, variety of products in a similar price range. So the benefits are there as a consumer and as a citizen. And also, I would say the same thing if I look in terms of disadvantage. So it has led to our certain countries where the people are getting exploited because they have the skills, but they are not getting that kind of wages. The local businesses, I think, have been struggling. Some of them have been able to fight back. Some have not been able to do so. More and more people are moving and migrating from one place to another, which is also in a way creating a stress on the a very stable social fabric which was present there. So when we talk of a VUCA world, I think this is what we are living in. So there are always something we have to pay for, for the benefits. So that is what I feel at the moment. And in terms of education, if you ask me, what has that impacted and how has that actually affected us? I think students community across the world is now one community, and there's been an integration, there's been an application of similar education systems and knowledge. So knowledge knows no border, but the exchange of knowledge and the exchange of the teaching practices and the collaboration between various organizations, schools, institutions within the country and between the countries is happening. So, real collaboration, real exchange of ideas, of teaching practices is happening. It is definitely, I think, leading to improving the quality and employment and deployment of the educational personnel. But at the same time, I feel that wherever this infrastructure was not there for the schools, for the communities, for the institutions to take the benefit of the technology. So they have been, marginalized. And in any society, whether in terms of the institutions, I would say, or in terms of the countries, I would say probably we can look at the people or the institution who are globalizing others, who are already globalized and who are left out of globalization. So the three kind of strata I feel I observe in my own interactions with variety of players, which is there. So I do not know whether I've been able to answer your question to some extent or not.
Absolutely, ma'am. That was, very well explained by you. Thank you so much. So, moving forward, ma'am, do you think there are any negative impacts of globalization on Indian education, particularly, and you would have, experienced some of them too? Would you like to please share your views on the same?
Uh, the negative of globalization, I would, like I was sharing earlier, would be to the people who have been left out of the globalization. So about the schools or the marginalized society, I would say, across the world, including India, where we have the migrant laborers. When we talk about the schools run by NGOs, or it could be even a state school in a very small, area where we do not have the technology reaching that, where the teachers have not been skilled or upskilled or reskilled. So the challenges are there with those people because they are not aware about how the world is changing. What are the skills required in today's workforce? If I look at one aspect only, that what kind of a 21st century skill you talk about. So these are the negatives or the corporate, how the schools, if you look back about 15 years back, each school used to be a standalone, each school had its own flavor. People did not look at the standardization of education. But today, because of the globalization, because of the corporatization of education, the kind of standardization, so the unique flavor of each institution is being missed out, and people and the institutions are adapting to it. So in that process of adapting and trying to ensure that they are able to align themselves with the global system, that the diversity in the approach is somehow we are missing out. But we see the diversity and we see the enabling in terms of how the schooling or the teaching learning process is happening. So we are evolving there. And there is a large chunk of people who are not able to participate in that evolution, in the globalization, and the impact of globalization which is happening in the education sector. So that is going to impact the workforce, and for any nation, that's a real important part that they have to take care of. Government has been doing a lot of work in that area. They have initiated this kind of a program called Hubs of Learning, where certain schools are made lead collaborators. And as a lead collaborator, my school is one of the lead collaborators. And we know that how we are able to assist a group of schools whom we work with. So there's exchange of ideas, but always infrastructure and the skilling of the teachers always will remain a concern, because without that, the impact or the alignment will not happen with what's happening in the remaining part of the world. So, the movement I can think of as layers of water. The layers are moving at a different pace. Everybody is trying to reach there, but the pace is different. So that's a negative. We are not able to move along together.
Absolutely, ma'am. There are, a lot of people who are left behind because the same. Thank you so much, Sonal, ma'am. So, moving forward, how do you think globalization has affected the 21st century education, ma'am?
Oh, I mean, this has really led to each office, each worker understand that how important are the skills of teamwork, of the ability to listen. I would say, it's so important that one has to learn to listen, to be respectful of what the views of the other person are, to be whether it's a formal or a non-formal environment, right? And also respect the diversity, uh, aligning it towards a common goal. It's also very important to be able to be able to also express yourself well, because we are now, if you look at the workforce, they're working across nation, across different timelines, across different cultural values, and the team is expected to deliver and work towards a common goal. So these qualities and these skills and attributes of 21st century, to be able to be collaborator, to be able to be a good communicator, to be a team worker, is really being highlighted. And I would like to add a point here. If I look at how the schools were, even after the corporatization of the school education, the schools are still working in the silo, like the school group of schools will be working with the standardization practices. But more and more one has realized that one has to move towards a truly global village and enable each one of an individual to a potential they have, then requires assistance. And we not only require assistance within the school, but also not only of certain resource person, but also of various other competent expert organizations. So there has been a movement within Indian education system where more and more organizations are collaborating with the schools at a national level, that is through the government agencies. So you have this Atal Tinkering Lab. Now you have the formulation of skill hubs. What is this? What is all these? These are the indicators of everybody realizing that how important it is to understand that the future of tomorrow lies in the schools today, and to be able to make them understand this. Also, I think very important part that somehow gets missed out because we are always looking at the economic part of the education and of the workforce. Also think it's very important for us to search the right balance between the society's concerns and integrity of an individual. So when a country is purchasing, has a purchasing power and is purchasing products for another country, so the other country which is selling the products is of course getting a benefit of creating a kind of a exchange and generating money for the economy. But at the same time, the people in their own country are losing out on not getting the right produce. That produce moving out to a more wealthy nation. And in the wealthy nation, there would be a concern with regards to whether their own farmers can produce that quality product, that quality grain, that quality farm products. So there's also a question about fair trade. There's a question about how globalization also has to be contained. Is it that the pace is very fast is going to be a negative part for us? The conflicts which were smaller are getting bigger. So our children in the schools are realizing more and more that how conflict resolution, how communication, how teamwork, how being having a responsible and responsive behavior, respect for diversity, these are really important skills. These are really important skills.
Absolutely, ma'am. They are, really important skills. And thank you so much, ma'am, for being here for the session. And the session was really informative. And I hope the audience and the students, watching us enjoyed it because, I know I did. So, do you have something to share with the students, watching us live?
Yes, I definitely would like to address the student community. I think they are really very, very aware if I compare it with our times. Awareness also means that you need to be aware about your rights and your duties to be a global citizen. I think the qualities and attributes which I talked about being a team worker, I talked about conflict resolution. That's really important because I feel the conflict in the world is not about the boundaries. It's about the ideology and the ideas. So I think it's very important for children to be respectful to the views of others, to be empathetic, to be truly a global citizen, that is to understand the values and the systems in other places and to truly collaborate. I think we truly can be a global village one day for sure. And we are hoping for this generation to do that for us.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, again for being here. Thank you so much for,
Thank you so much.
taking out your precious time and sharing your views with us. Thank you again. And for all
Thank
the
you.
viewers watching us out, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take
Bye
care.
bye. Take care.